Hello everyone, I hope you guys are all having a fabulous Thursday. Today I'm coming at you with the best bags to use for travel. Now I know that there's so many different bags to choose from, but these are some of my favorites. Whether it was going to Europe or the Bahamas, these are the ones that I found the best to use during my journeys. Some of these bags I have owned in my collection and some I have not, but I still have to give credit to how great they are and how much wonderful feedback I have gotten from people saying that they end up using these bags for travel as well. I wanted to start off with a few tips first, and then we will jump into the video. As much as I would want to use my jumbo, my mini luggage, and handbags like that, I end up finding myself using smaller bags, more compact handbags whenever I am traveling. I feel that the more versatile they are, the better, in the sense that I can transition from day to night with ease. And also the option of going crossbody allows you to be hands-free, especially if you're going to be navigating through crowds or if you're going to go sightseeing. Plus, using a handbag that lays flat up against your body, I feel gives you a little bit more peace of mind whenever you are in those crowds, and you don't have to worry as much about pickpockets. And I also have to say that I do like the larger handbags, and they're great for shopping, but I feel that the larger handbags can be a little cumbersome, and they're not as enjoyable to use whenever you are walking around. At least that's my own opinion. And last but not least, I highly recommend using a very, very carefree bag, because the last thing any of us want to do whenever we're traveling, whenever we're on holiday, or whenever we're going somewhere for the very first time is having to baby our handbag and having to deal with, oh, I can't use it because of this, I can't use it because of that. I feel that that really takes, the overall enjoyment out of your trip if you're constantly having to worry about your handbag. So I definitely recommend going for a carefree canvas or a carefree leather or carefree type of fabric. That way you don't have to worry about it, especially if you, let's say that you are flying out of Los Angeles. It's sunny in Los Angeles, and then you arrive in Paris and it's cloudy and rainy, and again, the last thing that you want to deal with is patina, watermarks, or anything like that. So definitely going for a carefree type of handbag is the best way to go, in my opinion. Alright, so that does it for those brief tips. Now on to the video. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you guys a picture of the item, and then I will go into detail as to why I think they're so great for travel. Alright, so let's get started. The Louis Vuitton Eva clutch. Now I had this bag in the monogram and the damier ebene canvas, and I would only use it in the damier ebene whenever we would travel. Again, because it was very, very carefree. I didn't have to worry about, the type of weather, and it really allowed me to enjoy my surroundings. Now this bag, I love it for so many different reasons. Number one, I love the fact that it comes with a detachable crossbody / shoulder strap, because that way I'm able to transition from day to night with ease, kind of like what I mentioned earlier. So during the day, I would use it crossbody. It ended up landing right at my hip. Perfect for me. I am 5'5", and I really like just where I ended up sitting. And then during the nighttime or whenever we'd go out to dinner, I take off that, that extra strap and just use it as a little mini handbag. So I love that aspect. Another great thing I love about the Eva clutch is the fact that it comes with a zippered closure. Again, it adds to the peace of mind whenever you're in crowds or whenever you are going sightseeing or anything like that. And I would make it even more secure by adding a Louis Vuitton lock to it. So that way I can literally go, on the subway, I can go on anything without having to worry about my handbag being opened up or anything like that. So I highly suggest using a lock if you just want that extra peace of mind. I literally didn't have to think about anything, and I just had, I had the key with me in a separate pocket, and I was able to just enjoy where we were. Another great detail about this bag is its size, and what I love about it is the fact that I'm able to carry just my essentials. And whenever I'm traveling, I don't tend to carry more than one credit card. I don't carry loyalty cards. I don't carry all of my daily essentials. I literally only go for the minimal essentials. So a small card holder with some cash, a credit card, a lipstick or a chapstick, my phone, and maybe one other thing. I don't like to carry too much with me. Again, just it gives me peace of mind. Maybe you guys are different, but that's just how I feel. I feel that the less I have with me, the less I have to worry about. So I love the fact that it's small enough to fit all of your essentials. Again, it has that zippered closure. It has the detachable strap. And even though, a lot of people compare the Eva clutch to the Favorite, And even though I am a big fan of the favorite handbag, the only reason why I wouldn't recommend it for travel is because it has such a, it's an easy way to get in and out of the bag because it only has the, what's it called, the magnetic closure. So that makes me a little bit uneasy, even though it is incredibly versatile as well. But I just feel that the Eva clutch is just a little bit better for travel. And plus it has a great price point for a bag that can be converted into 3 different bags for the price of 1, if that makes any sense. So I have to say a huge, I'm a big fan of the Eva clutch, and I have thought about adding it back into my collection because I really do miss having such a carefree bag whenever we do travel. So the Eva clutch is the first one that I want to start this list off with. The Chanel wallet on chain or walk, and I would definitely go for a caviar leather just because it's just that much more carefree. And I have used my wallet on chain in the rain and I haven't had any issues with wear and tear or anything like that. So I do love that aspect of caviar leather. So again, it's one of those bags that you don't have to think about at all. Now, even though this bag doesn't come with a zippered closure, it does have a pretty strong, a pretty sturdy snap button closure. So whether you're going through a crowd, it's not like it's automatically just going to pop off. So you definitely have to put a little bit of pressure in order to open it. So again, it's not super secure, but the fact that it lays flat up against your body is another great detail of it. Plus, it is small, kind of like the Eva clutch, but you only have room in here for your essentials. And like I mentioned earlier, I don't want to carry too much with me. And this can also transition from day to night with ease. You just hide the chain. So during the day, you use it crossbody or you use it on your shoulder. Then at nighttime, you hide the chain and you're able to use this as a clutch. So very versatile. And again, go for the caviar leather because it's just that much more carefree, in my opinion. The Louis Vuitton Pochette Accessoire. Big fan of this bag to use for travel. Not only is it small, kind of like the Eva clutch, but you're able to fit all of your essentials as well. I also love the fact that it comes with a top zip closure, so it gives you that added security. And if you want that added peace of mind, again, you can add a lock to it, kind of like what I mentioned with the Eva clutch. And if you want to take it one step further and be able to use this, you know, at any aspect during your trip, then definitely adding a crossbody strap to it. That way it makes it even more versatile would be another great way to go. But the Pochette Accessoire is probably one of my favorites because it also has such a fantastic price point. And especially if you go for the Damier Ebene one, you don't have to worry as much, again, with it because it's so carefree, you don't have to worry about weather or anything like that. So I am a huge fan of the Pochette Accessoire. Plus it's just very dainty. It's very small to be able to use for dinners. So again, the versatility of it and the size of it, I absolutely love this handbag and definitely one of the best ones that I recommend for travel. Louis Vuitton backpacks such as the Palm Springs Mini and the larger one, or the Moyen Montsouris in the MM or the GM size, these bags are just great to be able to use whenever you're traveling. More so the Palm Springs or any type of Louis Vuitton backpack that has the treated leather, because again, you don't have to worry about the type of weather that you're in. So I love the fact that you can put these on your back, you can put them on one shoulder, you can hand carry them. It's just so incredibly versatile to use a backpack, especially if you're navigating through crowds. Again, you can add the lock to it to give you peace of mind, and you know that you have all of your items secure. So the larger backpack allows you to carry more items with you, whether you need to carry a scarf, gloves, or if you're out shopping, then you can throw everything in there and you don't have to worry about it weighing down your shoulders too much because you have it. It's a little bit more ergonomic, in my opinion, than either a shoulder bag or a crossbody bag even. I just feel that the backpack is just so much easier to be able to go sightseeing and whatnot. So truth be told, my husband ends up using a backpack whenever we travel. It's not a luxe backpack because a lot of you know he's not into luxury goods, but he ends up using a backpack because it's so convenient. You can throw a bottle of water in there. You can just fit so many items in there, or a map or what have you. And you have a little bit bit more space. And again, it's just much more ergonomic to use it than having to carry a shoulder bag or anything like that. So I'm a big fan of the Palm Springs Mini. Personally not for me in my collection, but I have to give credit to how carefree it is. And a lot of people have mentioned how incredibly comfortable this bag is as well. Because again, it has so much added versatility in so many different ways that you can use it. Now the Moyen Montsouris in the GM and the MM size, I did have both, and both of them have left my collection, but I ended up using the MM when we went to Paris for the first time. And it wasn't as carefree as the Palm Springs, as I mentioned earlier, because it does have the Vachetta, and I had to worry about water stains. But once I knew, I was just thinking, okay, it's going to get water stains, it's going to get, you know, wear and tear, it's going to get this. Once I kind of got over that, I was able to enjoy the bag a lot more. But again, kind of like the other backpack that I mentioned, it was very easy to just throw on my back, put my items in there, and then just call it a day. I didn't have to worry about anything else. And sometimes I ended up putting the backpack you know, across my front instead of my back, just to make it a little bit more secure. So when we were on the subway, I would end up just changing it from my back onto the front, and then I still had my coat. So I knew that it was all right here. You know, it made me just feel a lot more secure. Some people might think I was taking it to an extreme or a drastic measure, but I just felt that whatever gives you peace of mind is what you should end up doing. And that definitely added to how comfortable I felt, you know, in my surroundings. So I'd have to say a big, big shout out to backpacks in general, whether you go for Louis Vuitton or whether you go for a different brand. Regardless, I think that backpacks are fantastic to use as travel items. So I definitely recommend those as well. Now the following bag is more of an honorable mention, as it's not an item that I have personally used when I travel, but a lot of people have been giving me such positive feedback that I wanted to include it in the video. That way it gives you a little bit more feedback, and if it's something that interests you, then it's something that you can also take into consideration whenever you're thinking about adding one of these bags to your travel necessities, if you will. And that is the Louis Vuitton Pochette Metis. And the reason why I personally haven't used this for travel is because it does have the Vachetta on top. So I can make it a little bit more carefree by adding a bandeau or a twilly, but maybe more like the Moyen Montsouris. I just have to think that if it gets wear and tear, if it gets water stains, then it's one of those things if I was to use it for a travel bag. But I really like the silhouette of it. I like the shape of it. And if you're going through crowds, you don't have to worry that someone's just going to push on this and open the bag, because you definitely have to push on these two in order to open it up. So the S-lock closure adds to the sense of security, in my opinion. The fact that it also comes with an all canvas shoulder strap, so you don't have to worry about patina, water stains, or anything like that. Plus it's adjustable, so you can make it a little bit shorter, a little bit longer, depending upon your height. And I also have to say that the fact that it does come with the extra compartments makes it a little bit easier if you need to carry more with you, or if you just want to, if maybe you're the type of person that can't go super, super compact and you still have to carry, you know, a little bit more with you, then again, I think that the compartments will add to, you know, to how comfortable you are whenever you're traveling, if that makes any sense. Longchamp totes. Now, even though I have never owned a tote from this brand, I do have to say, kind of like the Pochette Metis, a lot of people have said and really sworn by this item. They love the fact that it's very, very carefree. It has the nylon type of fabric, if I'm not mistaken, so you don't have to worry about any type of water stains or any type of marks. If it does get a mark, you can just easily wash it off. Plus, you have the color treated leather on the handles, so again, it adds to how carefree this item is. And they don't tend to hold their shape the best, so personally I think that's why I haven't added one to my collection. But I always see, especially on Instagram, people whenever they're traveling, they always go for the bag that I'm about to show you next, as well as the Longchamp tote, because it's just so easy to use. So that's why I thought I would also mention this. And they also have a great price point, kind of like what I talked about with the Pochette Accessoires. So if you don't want to spend too much money, if you want a larger handbag, they have an array of different sizes as well. But if you want a larger handbag or something that you can carry all of your essentials with whenever you're traveling and not have to worry about anything at all, then the Longchamp is a great, great brand to be able to add to your collection or to use whenever you're traveling. The best part of all those bags that I mentioned earlier also fit onto your carry-on, so you don't have to worry that they're going underneath the plane or anything like that. You know that they are on your carry-on and they don't take up too much room. So that is a major, major plus, in my opinion. the Louis Vuitton Neverfull in the MM size. And the only reason I say MM is because in my opinion, that is the best size. It's not too small, it's not too overwhelming, to each their own, but personally I find the MM size to be the best. Now, even though I mentioned earlier, I'm not a big fan of using big bags whenever I'm traveling, I feel that the Neverfull is the only exception that I make whenever I'm traveling by plane. And the reason that is because even though the smaller handbags is what I prefer to use when I'm sightseeing, when I'm out in crowds, and of course there are tons of crowds in the airport, so that's not what I'm necessarily saying. But the reason why I tend to use the Neverfull is because I can fit so much in there. The smaller handbags are great, as I mentioned earlier, when you're going through crowds or when you're sightseeing, but sometimes if you have more than one boarding pass, you have passports, you have magazines and whatnot, not everything is going to fit into those smaller handbags. So the Neverfull, because it has such a large size, I'm able to throw everything in there that I need with me when I'm on a plane. So I put magazines in there, bottles of water, boarding passes, passports, my credit or my card holder, a monogram shawl that I end up using as a little blanket, because we all know that the Louis Vuitton monogram shawls are huge. So you can use them as a blanket as well, because it tends to get a little chilly on the plane. But I do love how great these are and just how easy it is to throw everything in there. And usually what I'll end up doing to make it more secure, because let's be honest, the Neverfull doesn't have the best secure closure, just has this little D-ring, which, let's be honest, that's not going to deter anybody. What I end up doing is that I end up putting all of my like my credit cards, or my I keep saying credit cards, my wallets and all of my other goodies on the bottom of the bag, and then I put the monogram shawl on top, and then I put the magazines and the bottle of water on top of that. So that way, if someone was, you know, behind me or in front of me, they're not able to see everything that I'm carrying at a glance, if that makes any sense. So I do love the Neverfull for that aspect. And what I end up doing whenever we get into the plane, because they tell you to put it, you know, in the overhead compartment or underneath on the ground. I'm not too crazy about putting it on the ground. That's why I usually end up using the demi-ben one over the monogram one, just because it's a little bit more carefree. I don't have to worry as much. And then I just kind of put it in the overhead compartment. But again, I'm able to take out the magazines. I'm able to take out the bottles of water. I'm able to take out the monogram shawl. That way I can use them. And then I end up putting those in the little, in the little seat, you know, compartment that you could put all your items in there. So I do love the Neverfull for traveling by plane, just because it just makes it so much easier to get through the airport, so much easier to carry all of your items in one compartment instead of having, you know, instead of having so many small handbags, like a small backpack, a small bag, and small this, and then you have things in, you know, kind of everywhere else, if that makes any sense. It's all in one spot. So I love how easy it is to access all of the items that you need when you're going through the airport. So I only tend to use the Neverfull whenever I am traveling by plane, or even sometimes if we're traveling by car, just because it makes it so much easier. But for the most part, whenever I do get to my destination, I end up transitioning from the Neverfull into a smaller handbag, because again, I just like the smaller handbags whenever I am out and about, and I feel that even though I love the Neverfull, it doesn't have the best security, as I mentioned earlier. So that is why I wanted to also add the Neverfull to best bags to travel with. So that does it for my video. Like I said before, these are just some of the bags out of the many, many options out there to choose from. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was able to help. And if you are traveling this season, I wish you the safest of travels. And I also am thinking about doing a type of video as the best way to bring back your luxe goodies into your country if you're traveling and you end up buying quite a bit. So let me know in the comments section down below if that's something that would interest you guys. So thank you again so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I was able to help. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not. The choice is yours. Have a great day, you guys.